not used to this patch. I forgot Pantheon's a champion again.
Yeah.
He is an incredibly powerful champion, and giving it over most likely into the hands of Rockky. Now the instant response from an Akali, a champion that we thought might be kind of done and dusted after the most recent set of nerfs. The immediate Syndra follow-up as well. A lot of magic damage, but some power on the side of Lowkey.
Yeah, and I'm going to reference something incredibly obscure. Is this Akali going to chase around the Pantheon, and then when he ultis away, you just hit him with the E? Seeing an Akali just fly across the map, maybe that is the ingenious counter pick, and we're going to see for the first time.
I'm going to be honest with you, Egym. I think when I play against Pantheon, it's not the ult that scares me, it's the hyper-oppressive early game, but I like the niche interaction, and I hope we see it too. Now, interestingly, balancing it out for DeuL and Pop on the bottom side, you do have the Nautilus and the Kaisa, very powerful, very aggressive early lane, now matched against with a Thresh on the opposite side.
And of course, this does mean that AD carry options are potentially going to get hit on, and I believe Spawn was saying in the analyst desk segment before this game actually started, Lowkey is a team that has actually lane swapped into the current meta. I mean, like 3 patches ago in their playoffs, but regionally, this is not something that we aren't used to seeing from these teams. And I don't know, if you're looking to give them the Pantheon, obviously this is a very prepared strategy. His laning phase can be oppressive. Maybe there are some other options here for Lowkey in not just the lane counter picks.
And the question is, when you're a team like Mega coming in and knowing you have to beat a team like Lowkey, how much have you looked into dealing with the lane swap? Is this something that's going to come as a surprise to them? Obviously, there's a lot of footage of it, but it's also very bizarre in the current meta to see a team swap like that. How is Mega going to respond if this lane swap does come out from the side of Lowkey?
Well, I mean, they do have good tools already, right? And it's a stretch and if we actually see it, but the Nautilus, the Pantheon, they have early game agency. I like this going into a team like Lowkey. We've mentioned it multiple times already, but you have to be able to fight them. If you just concede everything, we've seen that strategy fail on the world stage already this tournament. And see what they do want to go for.
And honestly, I love the Lee Sin pick here. A lot of early aggression, giving it over to DNK. He's often the initiator of early plays. Sometimes they turn against Lowkey in some of those clutch moments, but he's always fishing, always looking with a pick like that, Lee Sin, backed up with something like the Syndra. A lot of good non-committal engage options on that scat of the week. How do Mega respond here? Their final 2 picks.
Not a lot of jungle options left up and available. Elise gone, Olaf gone. Okay, we just saw a successful Taliyah game. Potentially going to be in the hands of Lloyd. Of course, this was once the AD carry for this lineup. Mega is made up of 3 Thai representatives and the Korean import duo of DeuL and Pop down there. So Lloyd transitioning to a new role about a year ago, and then potentially picking up the Taliyah for some of that early game impact, right? You link up with the Nautilus, you have the CC in the lanes to prepare for already, and okay, sure.
Camille on top of that, something that I honestly love to see in the hands of Rockky? This is where it gets a little bit interesting. Where's the Pantheon going to go? Obviously, a lot of potential for swaps here, and it's a similar story on the opposite side as the Syndra will be headed into the bot lane in the hands of Celebrity.
And this is something we were thinking about coming into the tournament. We haven't seen a lot of mage play down here, but there were inklings, there were rumors behind the scenes. And out of all of the AD carries, the top 2 in the current patch, the Xayah and the Kaisa, Xayah at least has a Feather Storm, right? Like, you are Syndra, you ulti her, she just presses the button, she is fine. Kaisa does not have that luxury, and to see Celebrity pull out the mage in Syndra, this should be a good time down on the bottom side of the Rift.
And a comp that just punishes mispositioning so hard with the likes of the Gangplank and the Cannon Volley as well. And looking at the opposite side, though, a lot of early aggression, a lot of CC, a lot of setup even for the Taliyah as well. Pantheon Taliyah, a bot lane duo we saw a little bit of in the past. Avengers duo, I believe, was coined as. Now we see it in the jungle mid. And I feel like if you're Artifact, you have to be very scared. If that Shroud does not come down at the perfect time, you are going to get stunned, knocked back by the Taliyah, and instantly killed.
And even then, it almost has to be premeditated, right? Because it's a point-and-click stun from the Pantheon, but if they know where you are, Taliyah will deal damage anyway. If you're in the Shroud, she can still land the flick, the Q is still going to hit you in the head, and the damage will still be there, so... yeah, as you mentioned, a lot of risk here, but very differing styles. This is a very different draft than what we've seen from basically any other team in the tournament so far. Pantheon, first time being left up. Different priorities. This is looking like a very different game here.
Have to see what each team decides to do here as we move into the early game. Crucial for both of these lineups. Very often explosive games, especially in the VCS. Will this be a game where teams are a bit more patient, a bit more hesitant, as we've often seen for teams' first time on the big stage, where it will be even more aggression from the likes of LK and MG. It's Mega Esports versus Lowkey Gaming. We get into our 4th game of the day.
And okay, level 1. Nautilus running mid lane, potential for some action, but looks just to be a little bit more of the 5-point fan. You were kind of questioning, do we see the aggression? Do we see the nerves kicking back and play a slower style? I really don't think that, right? Like Jake was saying, the difference between the VCS and other regions is that we prioritize killing champions more than objectives. That came out of the team's mouth in Lowkey, so I expect them here to want to speed this up. And in terms of how I view this team, it's like a prove-it region, not even just Lowkey individually, but overall, the VCS is hyper-mechanical. They won't respect your counterpoint until you actually prove that you can go for it. So hot and heavy, I think, in the beginning of this one, and you saw in the mid lane just queuing Artifact in the head.
Looking even for the small lane advantages here. And interesting is spending so much time, 115. They may look to push in and contest the Raptors, contest the red level 1. Camille now moving in as well. Yep. Will be spotted out, though, by the likes of Lowkey. Mega fishing for something.
Very old school strategy with Taliyah jungles. You get the easy split. She's very hard to contest. If you're a Lee Sin, GP, Akali, heavily melee range top side of the map. They had the ward knowing that it could come, so Lowkey were prepared. It's not going to deny anything from Mega, though. Very easy red steal, and it will be the map split. Rocky's going to face check a GP here, but not going to be the worst.
Quick passive proc and a parlay to send Rockky off. Actually, massive trade. Just going to make sure that the Corrupting Potion has at least one less stack for now. But Lloyd now moves into the top lane, already warded out. Hani just taking his time. There's no stun. There's no follow from the Camille here. So this is irritating, but not really threatening whatsoever.
Yeah, utilizing some of the time. Of course, DNK had to run all the way from top side after the buff spawned down bot. So Taliyah does have a little bit of extra time to play with and will just be slightly annoying to equalize the health trade up here. But yeah, we took a cheeky look in the mid lane. That matchup is going to be spicy. Okay.
Rockky stepping forward there, uses the hookshot wall dive, will not connect, however. A little bit of Scorch. And the passive now coming in from Hani as he tries to get some damage laid back down, but overall, Rockky with the level 2 is definitely posturing forward. And I like the aggressive trading we're already seeing in the lane phase, and it feels like Lloyd facilitating a lot of this with his attention on the top side, but no real greater advantages quite yet. Yeah,
incredibly early in the game, you'd think, 2 minutes 30. Not a lot can happen. It's actually going to be DNK getting only one quadrant of his jungle, realistically. The Raptors are still up, but doesn't have the pressure, doesn't have the lane advantage to be able to trade buff for buff, so Lloyd just walks down there. He's got a red, blue, and will get another red after this one. Feeling very good about the start of this game, eventually.
A bit rough for G4 there to miss the spear, although now we see outside the hook follow-up. That might just be enough. The Ignite is going down. DeuL's running for his life. The Kaisa, the flash forward. He's got to get it. I love the hook support. Now Pop not going to be able to make it out safely. They're slowly trying to burn him down. Does Syndra have the cooldowns to make this happen? Pop running for his life is going to make it out in the end. Only a single kill. There's DNK.
He canceled.
He cancels with the wall dive.
And we didn't even see it. DNK had to flash onto the screen to get in range for that. It was almost a train wreck on both sides of the map for Mega. Bot lane, top lane. Out of nowhere, 3 minutes into this one, Lowkey coming up with the goods.
And just insane plays back-to-back. Fantastic on the bottom side from Venus, and on the top side, Rockky getting away with an inch of his life. And I'm going to give him the credit of saying perfectly calculated on the wall dive. Maybe pure luck, but the bottom line is he lived, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, and I want to take another look at what actually happens down here, right? Think about the matchup, the Syndra stun into the play. There's so much CC. Flash honestly shouldn't have come out from DeuL there, was just absolutely dead to rights. All right.
There you go. All right, Berlin, I love it. And, you know, there are some games, Egym, you may don't experience this as much. There's games where you get to watch replays, and there's games where you don't. And this feels like a game where we might not get to watch a lot of replays. But another kill going down in the mid lane, and Mega starting to make up for the difference there. Pantheon getting the serrated Dirk as well, and Artifact immediately has to buy cloth armor. That is a big feels bad.
Yeah, certainly a necessary kill there for Mega in terms of getting back some of this control. Top side, DNK actually going to be basing an award, so Rockky received the first gank. We'll just be able to let this one push in underneath his turret. He's going to get this A-OK. Okay, interestingly, DNK watched the rubble appear. He saw the ward die and was channeling his recall, so makes a decision to stick around, potentially like fishing for a counter gank, but of course, nothing will come his way.
All right, instant stun comes in, blocks the follow-up damage. Of course, has the next ability will be empowered, and I see the instant flash.
Yes.
Got huge damage there.
Shroud landed, did not even matter, and still maintains the Ignite, right? Just the one hit of the HP bar didn't even have to burn the summoner. So G4, he's a guy that for years has been playing in the wildcards in MSI Worlds, all of these play-in groups, and he was like a Diana guy and Aurelia guy before it was cool. Before Aurelia was reworked, G4 picked Faker's Aurelia. He was the only one playing it into Faker and just got Olaf. If you remember that game, that was a train wreck. And so he's the guy that will be picking up this Pantheon.
I really thought you were going for a happier story there, Egym.
No, but it's like, it's the champion, but like he should be good at the stuff like Pantheon. It just makes so much sense.
I mean, look, we're already seeing a 10 CS discrepancy. You've got the Serrated Dirk, you've got the Corrupting Potion, a very easy lane, and now he's on the top side of the map. Are they going to go for this? He leaps in, going to block as much damage as possible. Pantheon tanky, but he just doesn't take anything back. Hani now running for his life. The sweep is there. Can't sidestep it. Rocky's going to walk away with the kill.
And they just make it look so easy. Presses the E button. Turret does no damage, and Hani, yeah, straight up dove underneath his turret. TP is also gone. Flashless up there, and Taliyah is still in the vicinity, so getting back to this lane is going to lose a bunch of that CS, given that Rockky had to kind of get away from the ganks that were being thrown in his direction. This lane has completely swung back.
And now level 7 as well for G4, so things are also just going to get harder for Artifact in the mid lane as we look back at this one. A lot of CC thrown his way, and this is the power of those early Pantheon dives.
Yeah, and just think about how far away they were. Hookshot buys Camille so much space. G4, of course, on the Pantheon just comes flying in from the sky, but Hani was giving them room. He was backing off a very large wave that was eventually going to push in, but just that slight overstep, it's immediately punished, dove, and loses everything.
And as we see Lowkey pushing here on the bottom side, Egym, I want to talk a little bit about what these teams are actually looking to accomplish. Gangplank, it's clear to me. Look, he's got a Cole, he's waiting, he's chilling, he's a human cannon barrage, probably for the next 15 minutes. But the rest of the map, what do you actually try to do to mitigate some of what this Pantheon is doing, some of what the CC is providing for Rockky if you're Lowkey?
Yeah, I think it is interesting, right? Because in terms of how you can attack early games, mid lane prio means so much. What happened in the early stages? They get a gank top side, they force some prio there. They get kills straight 2v2 in the bottom lane, and you're a VCS fan, you're looking at this one just like, wow, okay, this is going to be easy. We're winning both side lanes, but immediately the trade back from G4 was kind of a little bit of a spanner in the works, and this is kind of what we expected coming into this day. Both of these teams, very aggressive in the early game. They want to get towards the mid game. We've got 4 solo laners that can all happily go into a side lane later, and these guys are playing the same style, so a gold lead in the early game will mean so much.
Kind of all hinges on that, especially when you have a lot of powerful split pushers with the likes of the Camille. And you mentioned it, the early to mid game, so important for both of these teams in their domestic leagues. And you see a lot of the numbers starting to add up. And Mega, of course, incredibly domestically dominant. 4.2k gold lead on average. Now, Lowkey, you have to remember, are the second seed. It was a bit tighter there in the VCS, but still a team that we look at to have a lot of kills. The CKPM, 0.95, very much in their favor for a lot of early action, even if it doesn't always amount to these massive gold leads.
Yeah, and I think the one big thing, like you mentioned there, like stats, of course, in a stronger region, you have to give regional advantage there to the VCS, and is a little bit harder to come by, but they're just incredibly fun to watch. Doing preparation for the tournament, like VCS, they're just wild. You're just watching everybody mechanics check everybody, and yeah, it's good.
Now we get to see, talking about it being a prove it. Artifact is going to make him prove it. The stun is there. The Taliyah follow-up is not, however. Lloyd can't make it in time.
Yeah, very smart read there from Artifact. He knows his jungle is just kind of doing nothing on the bottom side of the map. He's doing Gromp. He won't be able to help for a very long time. Lee Sin actually has a reasonable camp lead right now. You can see Taliyah running around about 14 below. Has been spending a little bit more time in the lanes than his opponent, but rotating towards the right side means that any sort of pressure does not go towards him in the mid game, in the mid lane rather. But I want to kind of take a hit on this bottom lane matchup, because I am surprised it is kind of only like a 10 CS lead so far. Remember, almost every single summoner was burnt down here, a straight 2 versus 2 kill, but maybe the level 6 mark is the hinging point. Now Celebrity has that R button, so much damage comes through the ability, and now you start to punish the Kaisa.
And it would be interesting to watch the whole lane phase back, see how many hooks are missed, see how many opportunities there actually are for Celebrity and Venus to extend this lead. But yeah, when you have such an aggressive, powerful lane like the Syndra Thresh, snowballing off to early start, you do expect a little bit more. But as you mentioned, the Syndra ult going to be a big game changer, and I think very much going to outweigh, at least for now, the safety that Kaisa's ult could possibly provide.
The one big thing they do have to contend with is exactly this. G4 has prio, Lloyd is very quick around the jungle, and fighting in a side lane when G4 can just walk towards the river, just R's down there, and for a Syndra Thresh, their 2 versus 2 is very committal. Both of these hook champs, they're not the Blitzcrank, so their hooks take them forwards, and they really do not have any get-out buttons. So if you commit a little bit too far, a single mistake, a single flash forward gets punished, and this game could completely swing back. So maybe hedging somewhat, right? Wanting to wait up, get towards the loot at the first item, whatever it may be, and then look to make the play.
And of course, both supports having stopwatch can facilitate some of those more aggressive plays and potentially save them from an otherwise get in but don't get out kind of situation. DNK, though, potentially fishing for a Sonic Wave here. We'll walk around, should spot the Camille. Creep Wave, though, there to block just in time for Rockky.
You hate the blue creeps. It's the worst kind of creeps.
What about when you're on the blue team?
They're still the worst kind of creeps. You just wander up your lane and die. They're giving them gold. Useless.
As a support,
they're bad teammates.
I think you might just hate me.
They're genuinely bad teammates.
That's fine.
Yeah.
They're doing what they have to win the game, Egym. Eventually they'll do it. You just need, 2 hours and they'll end the game on their own.
Yeah, it's kind of whack how that happens, right? You're in a practice tour, you just let it go, and eventually one side just wins. There you go. It's the goods.
Hopefully we don't see a game like that.
I agree. I think this is not going to be the game. Ocean Drake spawning is something super relevant in the early stages. I've cast already 1 day of play-ins and had a bunch of these so far.
Did you get 7?
Yeah, I got 7. 7 in 3 games. That was a goodie. But both of these teams starting to contest the bot side river control. You can see Lowkey a little bit more aggressive. Pink ward's in the enemy jungle. Very nice one that is being cleaned out by Pop's Pink just there, but very useful to track any sort of jungle attention in the Taliyah, because different junglers call for different sort of vision patterns. You think about a Zac, you have to get that little bit deeper, and Taliyah is the same thing, so finding something, but fight in the mid lane may have been found.
Artifact going in. Earth not going to really connect there. Seismic shove either. So GPL comes out, feels a bit premature, trying to stop any further follow-up, but Hani doing fine on the top side, probably will not need it, although he continues to fall further and further behind in CS as Camille now able to force the lane in with the Tiamat. But as you mentioned, Ocean Drake in the sights of both teams. Decent defensive vision set up from the side of MG, but not really enough that's going to allow them access to pick comfortably. Flash! Easy, the follow-up. G4 can't block it all, and that's going to be the kill for Lowkey.
And such a timely play. Their top laner being shoved in, GP without Cannon Barrage, and everybody wants to play towards the Dragon. They want to take that one down, but a pick in the mid lane is exactly what they needed, denying some of that pressure. G4 goes down, and kill picked up by DNK. Very flashy, and exactly what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, definitely going to start to help them balance out the gold a little bit. In fact, they even have the lead 1,000 in their favor. Starting to come through, and as you get further and further in the game, might be harder and harder for DeuL and Pop to survive under the tower. Celebrity landing the long-range scout of the week makes things that much easier, but even now, probably waiting for the Luden's Echo before he has enough kill pressure to find anything here.
And just very good preparation. Artifact actually baiting this one, thinking for the reset, and G4 was just posturing around the wall like, can I stop this one? Can I greed out a little bit? And it does cost him his life. Rift Herald contest here, 13 minutes, so a minute on plating, but DNK knows and he doesn't care.
Fishing for G4, Sonic Wave will connect once again. No kick, the damage has been blocked and he will pull back. Are they going to return to the Rift Herald? For now, Lloyd continuing, but this is going to take a long time. Forcing Camille over, DNK can still come. Smite is up and available.
Bottom lane's rotating already. Venus and Celebrity will be here long before the Kaisa can at all. Rocky's in.
The Lee Sin locked up. DNK, though, now just going to get finished off. But the Rift Herald has reset. Celebrity on the way. What can he get done? The Syndra stun not going to connect. Hani coming in as well, but the GP does not have enough items to be a massive threat. Lloyd going to walk away with a sliver of health, but Artifact is on the hunt. Venus will go down on one side, Lloyd on the other, and Rockky has stayed too long. Gets taken out in the end. That's the 2-for-1.
Yeah, and an even trade, and the Kaisa never left the bottom side, so Lowkey going to push in mid, and Mega going to do exactly that towards the bottom. Plating gone. Turrets could reasonably fall if anybody wants to stick around, but the hard reset, the Rift Herald's still on the map. Both of these teams prioritizing those objectives and want to get back there.
And 2-for-2 in the end, and Camille being 3-1, fantastic, but have to see what they can do with it now, because Artifact, while he was suffering early on, starting to pick up some kills, starting to get some assists, starting to get rolling, and feels like it's only going to get harder for Pantheon to really hold up on that kill pressure.
And that's the one big thing, right? Like, you prioritize like Pantheon early game, in the mid game, super active can make things happen, but as this does get later and later, the solo lanes of Lowkey, the Akali, the GP, they will feel very good about stalling this out. Mega 4 versus 5 opting into this fight. You see the Kaisa on the minimap just chilling down there, hitting creeps, hitting turrets, and ends up being incredibly close despite the numbers disadvantage. Lloyd is off-screen top right being chased by Artifact. Maybe could have done a little bit more in the back end, but Hani cleans up Celebrity, looking to clean up the kills on the back end, and yeah, Lowkey walk away with it.
And Mega just going to try once again. Have the control ward there. Lloyd going to try to finish this one off, but it will cost him a tower in the meantime. Of course, no plates left up and standing, but the Demolish proc will finish the tower off for Celebrity and Venus. Gold heavily now in the favor of Lowkey as the GP ult is used to clear the top as best it can, but it's not actually going to finish off the cannon minion or most of those creeps, so Hani has to be very careful. I don't think he can approach here until he gets a bit more support. Artifact coming up.
Sides of the map being heavily traded here. Outer turret falls in the bottom side and Celebrity just left alone. Dragon gets soloed out by DNK, so that already falls. It looks like Mega are actually backing off on the top side. So GPR, Cannon Barrage, was enough to dissuade the push, and another small advantage goes to Lowkey. Shelly popped to the mid lane, though.
Yeah, Mega now pushing in. 4 members strong. Artifact has to be very careful with your approaches. Finally, the Taliyah and the Pantheon are together. Really cannot step forward against that. Herald will crash once, but Mega don't want to push for anything else here. Happy with just the single tower. Will give up the Herald after that.
Yeah, super hard to continue anything like that. Mid turret, top turret. Pretty big prize for them here. A bunch of gold re-injected back into their wallets. Certainly feels nice, and an open map right now kind of feels good for Rockky. If they can find the GP matchup, if they can flip the map and break the complete like outer turrets on the side lanes, then that's kind of the trajectory you expect this sort of game to follow. Because as we mentioned, like both of these teams, they want to play the side lanes. All of these guys want to look for the 1v1s. GP just wants to farm it up for another couple of items and ulti towards team fights later on. And I'm honestly surprised at how little ultis we've seen from the Pantheon. This is a super big pick coming into the tournament, but Lowkey and honestly, DNK has done a pretty good job at containing the mid lane.
Now G4 forced away too, and I think you're right. Once we saw it top lane, I thought for sure we'd see the rinse and repeat from G4 over and over again. And when you talk about side lanes, the mobility of Taliyah, the mobility of Pantheon, even the Kaisa for mid-range, you know, I won't call it semi-global, but very long-range ultimate, you have to assume that they'd be very good at punishing any kind of 1-3-1 setup, but just have not seen it whatsoever. DNK though.
Sun's on.
Q's on. He's going to hit on the Lloyd. Lloyd cannot survive, and now Pantheon's all on his lonesome. Celebrity flashing out. Syndra's still alive, but the rest of the team now moving in. The Kaisa has joined. The shutdown is there for Rockky. He's fishing for a little bit more. The Thresh locked up, sure to be taken out, but Artifact. Conqueror now proc. Conqueror activated. Fishing for DeuL. A good flash out, but it's not going to be enough. DeuL taken down in the end as Pop now has to run for his life. Lowkey are just going to clean him up here. No hope left for the Nautilus. Taken down by Hani in the end.
And it was a slow one, but very lopsided. Lowkey start early. The picks transitioned into another couple of picks. And yeah, going to get complete control of the bottom side of the map. Mid turret yet to break, but will do so with absolute ease here. Lowkey, this gold lead is steadily growing. Now 3,000, feeling good in the early game.
Just continuing to get further and further ahead, and especially in the farm of the solo laners. Yes, GP is suffering, but look at the Akali, look at the Syndra, the tower difference now going to start up, or even up rather. Move a little bit later into the game, and I mean 3K lead for a team like this, Bryce, is huge. It's
exactly what they want. Like these sort of fights in this sort of time frame is exactly it. Somehow DNK bends it around the champion, and I'm surprised Mega once again they're opting into the numbers mismatch fight. Somebody is dead. Kaisa's farming bottom lane, but they just continue to pick on this when they continue to pressure, and Lowkey. They have the damage, they have the numbers, they have all of their friends in the area. Cute. Oh, almost.
And you gotta feel bad for DeuL, because he's the real one who suffers here. There's a Lee Sin, there's a Syndra, there's an Akali. He just does not have enough space to move in these fights, and it's a similar story for Lloyd. So while Rockky and G4 get to be pretty comfortable, they have enough tankiness, they have enough, you know, get in, kind of get out options. The Kaisa and the Taliyah, if they get caught ever, it's just instantly die.
And specifically DeuL, right? Like he is the star of this roster. 0-2-1, no transform on the Muramana just yet. That's a fairly long way away, but you kind of alluded to it. The range advantage, like you're stepping up to auto attack and you cop a GP barrel. Syndra stun, Akali's in your face, and that's a disastrous place to be. It does seem like Mega struggling in these fights to find the avenue that they are looking for, and if Lowkey coming into this one, the more aggressive team, they can continue these skirmishes, then heading towards the 20-minute mark, setting up around a Baron, that's exactly the sort of place they want to be.
And this 3.5K gold lead is very big for Lowkey, but we do still need to see this game or this team close out with some confidence. Mega, they had a lead earlier in the day. We saw them pull ahead, look very much in control. They weren't able to close it. Can Lowkey be different? Can they be the team that finds a lead like this, shuts Mega out of the game, and just moves further on? But have to prove it. As you said, Vietnam, the region, you got to prove it mechanically, you got to prove it in execution too. Pantheon now coming in. It looked really menacing. You got to give him that. If you had no idea what Pantheon did, you'd be very scared right now.
He's stacking ulti hat. You know, they may have removed it from the game, but he just wants the CDR. That's fine.
It's an active protest against the balance team.
I like that framing. Really good. Yeah, that's the nice one.
Bring back Ultimate Hat.
Yeah, now they had members walking down the river, so just kind of fishing for a pick, obviously. Did not land, but next Dragon on the cards. Mega in the area, still looking to fight for it. It's exactly what we see in the LST. It's exactly what we see in the VCS. Everybody fighting for every objective. And look, we're mentioning it like 3k gold lead. This is significant. The item spikes, the Zhonya's now hit for the Syndra. But Mega, look, they've got the vision control. They're in the area. They're actually starting this one up.
And it feels like so often, Mega are just very comfortable letting Lloyd try to solo out objectives on the Taliyah while the rest of the team just gets lane priority. And while it could be risky, it hasn't really cost them too much quite yet in this game. That said, you still see in the gold graph, steadily falling behind. The Ocean will make things a bit easier, especially for side laners like Rockky, but definitely later in the game than you ever really want to see an Ocean. Potential
gank towards the top side, low-key. Kind of fishing for it. Curious that they're able to concede the Dragon, but just setting up the Baron very, very early. Take a look at the gold graph. Relatively steady, right? Spiking, of course, with the kills. There's been tons of skirmishes, but on the up and up, going to get themselves the crab, looking for the blue steal away, but Pop is in the area. Can he stop this one?
Is he going to try to grab
he gets it.
Lee Sin locked up a good amount of CC, but the barrel's there. It's not even going to matter. Can't click the lantern whatsoever. Good kill for Mega.
G4 walks away with a blue buff. Baron control means nothing without a jungler, and Mega able to find another window back into this one. Celebrity sitting on a pink ward right now, so Mega know exactly where he is.
Focusing now instead on clearing out the waves, and thought we were seeing some clean Baron vision setup there, but overstaying, costing DNK his life, and it means the Lloyd and the rest of Mega get to push up here, get a bit more control, and make sure that this Baron is not totally under the control of the side of Lowkey, as Rocky's just going to be able to grab this tower uncontested. Artifact can step forward, but does not opt to contest him on it in the end.
Yeah, doesn't want to stick around, doesn't have too much vision in the bot side jungle, know if anybody is following. Of course, Lloyd
Hook goes
into camp right now. Okay.
Celebrity's going to try to find it, but it's Celebrity caught in the midst of the team. A perfect use of the Kaisa ult is going to save his life, and he gets taken down, biting off way more than he can chew.
Yeah, Venus just hooks him in the head, and he actually ulties into 4 members of the enemy team right now. Both side lanes from the bottom side of the map rotate over. As soon as a skirmish is even sniffed out by anyone, all 10 members just start rotating to the play. And the cleanup Celebrity, now Mega, still looking for more.
Artifact dashing out, good buffer there, now pulling in the Pantheon, deleted. Huge barrel and a kick to finish it off from DNK. Have to hold on. Yeah, I thought so too. Oh, that's all right. Well, we're back, audience. Brief moment of tension. No Nocturne in this game, I promise. Yeah, so here we are. Okay, so this is good, Bryce, because these are my favorite periods of time in the midst of what is a very chaotic game, as we get to take stock of the situation. Now, I look at items. I see double Zhonya's coming up. It didn't save Celebrity, sadly, but it might save Artifact and the Gunblade as well. And I feel like this is the point where Artifact, even after the Akali nerfs, can start to take over again.
And that's the thing. You see, as soon as Rockky went towards the bottom side, like, Artifact was the man that was thrown down there to deal with him. He respected the Camille being the big member on the team right now. Actually, potentially looking for Hani, but we'll just back away. So Mega utilizing this side lane pressure. Rockky is a huge point of contention right now, and you kind of mentioned it. Artifact is primed and ready to deal with it, but he doesn't have the TP. He has the Ignite, so he has to be Baron side. Lowkey deploying up here, potentially looking for a pick onto the Pantheon to break this top side turret. G4.
Walking right into it.
He's going to contest.
Oh, steps up. He spots Artifact and DNK. They're not going to be able to find it.
Mid lane rotate there from Mega means that DNK not willing to completely opt in. Thresh hook.
And we're late enough in the game now that you kill a jungler and one other member of the team, you can start to look at Baron. It is an option. It is a possibility for both of these teams. They will spot out DNK with the Price Seeker, the Void Seeker, rather.
Actually, W to the ward there. Ballsy move, but still opting in forwards. Lloyd has made his way up here. Point and click stun lands.
Artifact now going to try to retreat. Now goes in on Lloyd. Sees an opportunity to finish off a very squishy target here.
Gets it!
And he's just going to look for 2. Artifact is on the hunt. G4 is not enough. A double kill. It's too clean.
And DNK cleans up the kill, but a straight up 1 versus 2 from Artifact. He's got the Gunblade, he's got the boots and the Zhonya's. Does not even need the button. And now straight onto the Baron buff are Lowkey.
Starting to move into this one, 11k and dropping. It doesn't look like we're even going to see the contest coming in from Mega. Rocky's too busy in the side lane, doesn't have TP either, but it's a long, slow Baron. DeuL now barreling down the mid lane. Look to break a tier 2 in the meantime. So willing to trade this one. You know, 3k drops should not lead to a dropped Nexus tower, but it's taking a bit.
Yeah. Not a lot of damage when you don't have an AD carry.
Boys, let's wrap it. Okay, there you go. Baron taken down.
The only real physical source of damage being the GP stuck in the base, so Everybody else just throwing abilities at the Baron buff. That's going to get cleaned up, and now Lowkey in a very good spot. Let's take another look at what actually happened. Mega are baiting this one. They have the pink ward, but unfortunately the CC isn't still around when Lloyd arrives, and that is the combo. CC into flick back, and Artifact recognizes the opportunity, goes forward, uses everything, cleans them up with ease. No summoners even needed. That's just very nice play for the mid laner of Lowkey. And
just the second you fumble that, the Taliyah goes from very big damage threat to
useless.
Yeah, to totally useless,
just
squishy.
Dead. Oh. Yeah.
And that's the thing, even now with the Morello coming out, the Taliyah can continue to be a big source of damage, but more often than not, might just look like food for the likes of Celebrity, for the likes of Artifact. They both have Zhonya's. They can mitigate some of the burst damage coming out, but that is not the story for Lloyd on the opposite side.
And it's a bigger conversation to have, right? As League of Legends is progressing, like, holistically, team fights are getting shorter, champions are getting more damage, especially in a comp like this. Single mistakes are more easily punished. Pop actually wants this one. DK stuck.
Coming up, Pantheon coming up. He's going to flash away, but that single flash traded for so many ultimates. And if Lowkey can find a fight in the next minute, this will hugely favor them.
It's been a kind of weird game of different trades. Mega, whilst not in a gold lead, they're just sitting in a deficit, have actually found picks every now and again. They've been very good at creating these opportunities because right now they're not in a good spot. GP pushing bot line. He goes all the way to the turret now with a Baron buff. They're able to push towards the top side with relative ease. That turret is also conceded, so if that pick landed, if the flash was not there on DNK, you can respect the play, but Lowkey just incredibly strong and into pressure this.
Right now, Egym, I think this is where you get scared if you're Mega, because you know if you make a mistake, you're going to lose an inhibitor, and there's so much threat. The long-range potential engage from Celebrity, from Venus, just throwing these hooks out with the team there to back them up. If you are going to go in on this pushing 4 right now, you have to be so confident that you're going to execute well.
Top side. Hook goes out. He's going to land.
Next to the Pantheon now pulls it back with the Nautilus. Going to pitch for the re-engage. G4 now goes forward, but instantly taken out as a support on the opposite side. The Zhonya's the first one used. Rockky steps forward. The timing is a little bit off, and escape is not going to happen. A Kathy and Rain will take him down, and now the Akali has been locked up, caught in the midst of it. It is a Hextech ultimatum. The ultimatum gonna be death, and the long, slow goodbye as the triple kill comes in for the Kaisa.
Once again, Mega find themselves with an opportunity. Lowkey stepping too far forward, get immediately punished, and Gangplank left alone on the other side of the map. The only member left with the Baron buff, Mega. Every single time they're able to punish, and it looked like G4 was caught, but so many buttons just went into the Pantheon. Pop finds a hook through all the minion waves, and the Kaisa just left alone in the backline. You mentioned Camille here looked a little bit off time, but he's just waiting out the Zhonya. Such an easy cleanup. And the communication here. DeuL hits the W, and he knows he's not needed to take down Artifact on the Akali, so they clean up 2 kills instead of 1, and gold lead. As you get later into the game, 2K means less and less.
And really good. The value of this Syndra is in the ability to just delete someone. Yeah. And when your cooldowns are scattered and you don't immediately kill someone, you're just going to get so much more value out of the Kaisa. You see it in the damage dealt to champions. 3K for the Kaisa. You don't finish her off, your Akali doesn't finish her off with those cooldowns, she's going to run through your team.
That's the thing, right? Like, Syndra, I think, could have done a lot more in the early stages, but now you're getting to a 4-item 80 carry in the Kaisa. Remember, she's the 1 80 carry, maybe 2, that can build a Zhonya's very happily. Like, genuine, not trolling. Nash's 4th item has a useful stopwatch, not broken just yet, so comparing 1-to-1 Celebrity to DeuL right now. DeuL's dishing out the damage, has the sustain to get through all of the single target burst, and yeah, Mega may have found their way back into this one.
Now pushing a bit in the mid lane, he says that the Void Seeker. But of course, Lowkey continue to look for these hooks. It is still something that they have. They can, in a single round of CC, before DeuL even has the opportunity to activate the broken stop, or the stopwatch rather, just kill him. But they have to find the setup. They have to find the opportunity, and Mega are not stepping far forward enough to let it happen.
Lowkey right now, side lanes being pushed into their direction. 1 minute 40 left on the Baron spawn. You can see a little bit of respect being given from both of these sides right now. Mega's vision control around the top side of the map. Very, very useful. Tons of wards littered. Pretty shallow in the enemy jungle, but Rocky's actually looking for this one.
Rockky.
Stopwatch.
Ults and then stopwatches. Wall now coming in. Pantheon now coming in. Makes a bit more sense now.
Yeah.
Whole team is here. And this is like the second time that we've seen the entire squad show up in a side lane. You know, the Taliyah, the Pantheon show up for backup. But I feel like we've yet to see it really work.
Yeah, they haven't found the pick. Everybody's flying in. It was kind of a weird stopwatch into try and get out. Because the thing is, like, everybody is rotating. It's not like, okay, Mega, like, let's go for the play. G4, hit your R button and let's go for the fight. Because Lowkey is already on the way. So all of these globals just being matched. It's almost like an under 12 soccer game. Right? And I say soccer on the world stream, I mean football, I guess, but everybody's just following the ball around wherever it goes, right? We've got TPs, we've got the globals, but it's just tons of 10-man 5v5 skirmishes everywhere on the Rift.
You just really don't want to be the ball in this game. That's
yeah, no. Who's the ball?
Who's ever out of position.
GP barrels the ball.
Sure. I was going to say Pop right now is probably the ball. They don't know it yet, but Pop will learn it soon if he goes down. Won't do it.
That's fair.
And now Baron coming soon, right? 14 seconds. This is going to be the big objective. It feels like we're going to see one massive fight. But in the event that Lowkey do not start this fight off with a pick, I am looking more and more at DeuL. 4 items, Hourglass completed. This Kaisa does so much damage. I feel like she can kill an entire team if they do not burst her out to start a fight. Yeah,
and the only threat to the Kaisa at this point is Artifact. He's big, he can get it done, but only one person to deal with. Rockky once again looking for the side lane. We saw it before.
Getting caught out, could be a massive pick. Voidseeker comes in. Now to the rest of the team trying to fish. Taliyah's there to make sure no one else can follow, and that's going to be the single pick onto the likes of Hani. Now G4 steps forward. Artifact has stayed way too long. It's there. Can he grab his way out? No, he has to leap out to safety. Artifact pulling back, uses the gunblade just to make sure no one else can follow. Mega perfect access to the pit, but they've only taken out one on the opposite side.
40 seconds left on the death timer, though. A lot of time to play with hooks on, though.
Hooks can't afford to make a mistake like that. Taxis him out to safety. Lloyd still manages to escape. They mess it up. They can't kill the jungler. G4, though, caught in no man's land. Will there be any follow-up? Seismic Shove does not connect. So many low health bars. No longer do I feel like Mega can continue to attempt this. They have double Ocean. They will start to heal up. Will they go for it? Instead, might just settle for the Scuttle Crab here.
You can see tons of pings on the top wave right now. Massive waves in both top and bot for Lowkey, so in 8 seconds, Hani has the TP. He can get himself towards the Baron buff. The shoe's on the other foot. Mega had all of the advantage, but that singular hook from Venus kind of saving the day, and potentially Lowkey looking at a Baron take.
Now trying to find the setup. Kaisa ulti back off cooldown. The luxury of this build, you have a lot of CDR.
Yeah. But let's hit on that conversation you were having, right? Like, DeuL is absolutely massive.
I thought you were going to bring us back to football.
Not quite. He lands a W on the back end of this fight, and a very nice stopwatch from Hani, but in terms of abilities to get on the Kaisa, it is just incredibly difficult, and every time Mega finds themselves in one of these situations, Lowkey just cannot access the Kaisa, and it's going to continue getting harder and harder as the game progresses. The spike in mid-game for a Syndra, like the 2-3 items, the Akali, the window was massive, but unfortunately, right now it looks like Mega's game. They don't have the gold lead, but Kaisa is just exceedingly hard to deal with.
And Rockky and DeuL, you can see pulling ahead in terms of individual gold. They're going to be close to completing some of these major items. Now you have to assume the GA is next for the Camille. Already has the Sterix, already has the Ravenous Hydra. We can expect, I think, a lot more split pushing from Rockky has already been the story of this entire game. And this is a pressure point it doesn't feel like Lowkey quite know how to deal with.
Yeah, it's one of those weird games where every single lane has a significant CS discrepancy. And like gold advantages go one way heavy in all of the roles, right? Like Kaisa super big, Akali super big, has been playing very well this game, and the top side can be said for about the last 10-ish minutes, Rocky's just been punishing the side of the map. GP is left there to answer. And does a reasonable job. He's got the barrels, he can do it from safe distance and can still affect the map on the other side, but because there's just double pressure points to the singular one of the Akali on Lowkey, Mega, they're just maintaining control of the map, and look at the gold graph.
And this just feels like growth from game to game from Mega. Remember, last time they had a lead, they weren't able to do anything. So this time they're at a deficit. They're able to turn it around. It was 3-4K for the side of Lowkey, and now just swinging right back to even. Small advantages as little objectives get picked up, but the cloud will drop for Mega, and Baron really is the next big point. Short of a complete team fight ace, it feels like that has to be the catalyst for action, the arena, if these two teams do want to fight.
Yeah, it certainly is, right? And thinking back to that HKA game with Mega, it really is about the close here for that team. I think they're in a very, very good spot right now. Multiple members being deployed topside for Lowkey to try and counter some of this Baron vision, but double Ocean and an Air being picked up, but Baron is certainly necessary for a composition like this to reasonably be able to break open the base anytime soon.
We really do have no long-range champion. Taliyah is the closest thing we have to a Siege champion in this game.
Hitting a turret as a Kaisa, like you've got Thresh hook, you've got GP barrels. At this point, they hurt. Syndra stun is the worst-case scenario, and any form of CC gets followed up very easily by a hook from Venus. So it is incredibly dangerous to just walk up and siege your lane. That's like a 2015-16 League of Legends thing that's just gone. Like, siege comps don't exist. They're just dead. And I think it's for the better. They're very, very frustrating.
You don't miss Xerath, Ziggs, any of those champions?
Yeah, no, they're bad. Actually, the worst one was full AP Nidalee. Garbage.
Pre-rework, I assume.
Yeah. Not good. But that's all right.
It was like the beta for Zoe.
Smarts. I like that. Yeah, okay. I can see it.
One skill shot, all that matters. At the end of the day, though, I think this is where we start to see a little bit more of some of the domestic tendencies that I actually really like from both of these leagues. And it's not objectively great League of Legends, but death brushes are my favorite. Because now you see it. We all see it, dear audience. We see the setup.
But they don't see it.
They don't see it.
Oh no, Lloyd.
Little dramatic irony for our boy Lloyd.
G4, no.
Not like this. Oh my god, instantly they're going to delete him. That's going to be an easy pick. The death brush finds its first victim. The kick follow-up will not be there, though. Artifact could start to fish. Dash is over with the first charge of the ultimate, but now looks like Rockky sees an opportunity to go all in on Hani. DNK now fishing, trying to charge for a little bit more. Going in onto Lloyd and Artifact jumping into the backside. DeuL in his sights. That's so much damage to the shield. He's waiting for it to fade. But no, the knockup comes in from the Nautilus. Pop now flashing out to safety, but DNK continues the chase. Big damage traded back, but not enough. Now it's going to be complete and clear access to the Baron from the side of Lowkey.
It is 2 picks enough to take this one down. G4 or GP
Hani
in the side lane.
Dodging as much as he can, but hookshot wall dive is all it's going to take. The flash out not going to be enough. Precision protocol will finish the kill. The hookshot takes him to safety.
And is Baron still now an option? You can see the reset coming through potentially from Artifact. He has to deal with Camille if he stays in the play, but he doesn't. He resets. Baron buff half HP.
They don't have an AD carry. They do so little damage. This is taking too long. Lowkey need to get out of the pit. DeuL is now coming in. They're all going to get wiped if they stay for too long. Rockky now in the midst of the entire team. They need to get DeuL out, but this is a Kaisa's dream. If Artifact doesn't finish this kill, it could turn. It's all on Artifact. Can he take DeuL out? He will get the shutdown. That's massive for Lowkey, and the resurrection comes in for Rockky, but he's in the midst of the pit. Now G4 is on the hunt. The Pantheon, the Grand Starfall.
Oh, he's dead!
The day, the triple kill. Celebrity gets one back, but no, the shutdown. G4 needs to finish it. I don't think he can do it. The Pantheon, the empowered auto is the double kill. Artifact, he's continuing. He wants the challenge. He wants it, and he's gonna get it. Artifact takes out G4.
And how does this team fight end with 2 people left standing on the map? They last so long with so much burst damage back to back. Lowkey able to start this one up and get the crucial kill that they needed. And in what has been a very scrappy game, so many fights all over the place, the game's just back to even.
And you look at this fight, and I mean, we have to once again give credit to Artifact here. Because at the end of the day, DeuL, this is a dream for him. A single Acathian reign in that pit. He's getting 2 kills, but Artifact makes sure it cannot happen.
Yeah, started off with almost the bait there from DNK. Q lands onto Kaisa, throws it back, and DeuL is like chasing the kill forwards. He sees the opportunity, but Shroud down early. Surprising that Rockky just instantly dies. Celebrity one-taps him off the back end. If Camille got into melee range, hits the Syndra, that's a triple kill waiting to happen, but able to be salvaged there from Mega, and 2 people standing is all that's left at the end of the day.
Good on Celebrity to find the stun there in the final moments, but you have to feel like a little blood in his eyes, you know, a little too focused on finding those kills, or maybe Rockky could have found more in that fight. At the end of the day, though, we check the gold. 2K favoring Lowkey once again. Nobody has a Baron. Nobody's comp has suddenly gained more attack range. So I feel like we're just going to rinse and repeat. Farm your lanes. Let's go right back to the pit.
Yeah, potentially. The good thing, okay.
That's massive. Jungler dead instantly. Perfect start now for Mega. They need to start this one off. A lot of pick potential for Lowkey, though.
And do they just straight up want to start the Baron? Vision control on the top side jungle. Waves pushing in. I was going to say good thing for Lowkey because they now have TP advantage, but that pick on the jungler as well just completely wipes the floor. Baron's up.
No ulti, of course, for the Kaisa, but steadily coming back off cooldown. 6K and getting lower. She shreds the Baron. This should be an easy pickup. Can they find the steal? Can they get it in the end? Mega now coming in massive Pantheon ult. They're just going to clean up this fight. It's too easy. DeuL not going to get locked down. Rockky making sure Artifact can't get anything else done. The AD carry is still alive. Mega are wiping the floor with Lowkey. They're making it look so easy as Hani just runs for his life. Nothing left for him. Mega playing with their food a little bit. The ult comes off cooldown. They proc this one. The GP maybe hoping to fish for a kill. This could be a difference maker. Hani now needs to be careful. Braceseeker's going to give it to him. DeuL gets it. Mega just going to run straight down the mid lane.
And that's exactly what they needed. The perfect combo of the team fight, already picking up the Baron buff. Base broken. DNK is up, but it's 30 seconds on a relevant carry. This is going to be incredibly hard to defend here from Lowkey.
Lee Sin's going to need a miracle kick if he wants to buy enough time for the rest of his team. Getting lower and lower. It feels like this just has to be it. Egym, Mega moving in, making up for their mistakes early in the day. And here versus Lowkey Esports in the VCS, they'll find their first win.
And in almost just exactly the game we expected here. Super scrappy. Lowkey, first day on stage, come out of the gate swinging, and Mega, they handle it. They have the globals, the Taliyah, the Pantheon. First time we're going to see that pick, and fight after fight, kill after kill, tons of trading, but in a game with a gold deficit for the entirety, one team fight's all they need to close it out.
And honestly, for players like Rockky, Lloyd, G4, this has to feel so good, because so often when it was SEA, they were denied access to the Plans events by VCS teams like GAM. Now like Lowkey Esports. So to beat them here in their second game of the day, to close out their day, has to be such a fantastic feeling for this lineup. You
have to think about just this group in totality, right? You have HKA, you have Mega, and then you have Lowkey as well. All of the Garena regions, the GPL of old, and certainly a lot of rivalries between them here today. And yeah, certainly exactly what Mega needed here in this day.
And we look back at it, just honestly a very scrappy game. Seeing a lot of picks that I did not expect to see. Pantheon finally making it through the ban phase. Akali coming back. Still looking quite strong. And interestingly, the Syndra bot lane.
Yeah.
Not quite having the effect that I expected it to have, especially when we hear how powerful it's been in solo queue, how oppressive it is against these AD carry picks.
And it's the big thing for me is the Pantheon and the Syndra to hit on, as we'll actually take a look at the end of that team fight. Pop, massive hook to start this one off. Yes, 4 versus 5, no Lee Sin, but take a look at DeuL. On the backside, really not under much threat whatsoever. Started off with a stopwatch with the Zhonya's, a very nice usage there, and that's kind of what I want to hit on. Bottom lane, they got straight 2v2 killed very early into the game, and we really didn't see it revisited. We didn't see the Syndra be abused with the flash advantage, the heal advantage, the summoners that they got. And so Lowkey, we're in this position where they kept forcing these fights consistently, but at the end of the day, the Kaisa hits 4 items, she has the safety, and for a team like Mega that likes to play around their AD carry, just got to a point where they look too comfortable.
And with the two more vulnerable threats between the Kaisa and the Taliyah, it just felt like once one was ignored in a fight, it collapsed. And not only did it collapse, it in beautiful fashion. You finally got to see the Pantheon ult we literally asked for the entire game, hitting multiple targets, huge chunk of damage coming out, and we saw that the sheer amount of damage on this team meant that whoever really kicked off a fight on their terms just instantly won. No one could survive for more than 3 seconds.
Yeah, and I think the big talking point in that respect is Rockky on the Camille, right? Like, the reason why Mega were able to find these fights was because of the Camille on the side. Like, you contrast it to Lowkey are getting a pick because they're death bushing a top tribe rush. Mega, they have control of a Baron buff in a negative gold situation. They're at a deficit, but just because Camille is so big, an entire threat on the bot side of the map, he just rotates over. They have so much room to play with, and it really can't be understated from the top side. In a team fight game that was realistically won by the Kaisa, the reason that they got there was a lot of it on his shoulders.
I mean, I think that that's completely fair. And you look back at how many times the GP was almost solo killed, how many members had how many members had to come over and kind of save his life and bail him out in a lot of those situations. The amount of pressure that Rockky generated just individually was astronomical.
Yeah, and it's the little things, right? Like how many cannon barrages had to be used on a wave? Because like I get chunked out, I need to pop it to deal with something in the side lane. Like, that just shrinks our windows to look for a fight. We want to be proactive with the Syndra. Artemis in the mid lane on the Akali was relatively large. Like, he was a big threat, but those windows just kept getting smaller and smaller. And in a game of inches like this one was, Mega just a couple more kills, a couple more picks, and that's it.
That's all it took. Well, to get more insight on Mega's win, let's check in with Lore and DeuL.
Thank you very much, guys, and thank you for joining me for this interview. Congrats on the first win. I'm glad you guys managed to turn things around after the loss. So tell me, what was the turning point of this game? Because from a viewer perspective, everything was very back and forth and very bloody between the two teams.
우선 승리 정말 축하드리고요. 특히나 1패를 하고 나서 첫 승을 가져와서 정말 축하드립니다. 게임이 정말 팽팽했는데 어느 순간이 터닝 포인트였을까요?
제가 생각했을 때는 바텀이 많이 지고 있었는데 그냥 애초부터 탑 라인에서 너무 편하게 게임할 수 있게 해줘가지고 질 것 같다는 생각은 들지 않았어요.
Well, actually, we were losing really hard in bot lane, but at the same time, our top laner was having a very easy time. So I actually didn't think that we're going to lose.
Okay, well, now that you faced both teams, regardless of the results, which team challenged you the most today?
그럼 이제 모든 상대를 다 만나 보셨잖아요. 그럼 승패와 상관없이 어느 팀이 좀 제일 까다로웠나요?
개인적인 생각으로 HK가 굉장히 수비적인 픽을 잘 플레이하는 것 같아서 저희 팀하고 조금 상성인 것 같아요.
So I personally think that HKA, because they are really good at playing around like passive picks, really safe picks. So that's they kind of have the better matchup against us. So that's kind of the tricky point.
Awesome. Now you're gonna have to face them again in 2 days. What do you think about your chances of making it out of group?
그럼 이제 이틀 뒤에 다시 또 한 번씩 다 상대를 해야 되는데 그룹 스테이지 진출 가능성은 어떻게 보시나요?
제 생각으로는 충분히 1등으로도 다음 라운드에 진출할 수 있을 것 같다고 생각해요.
I find there is a huge chance for us to end in the first place and make it to the group stage.
Well, we'll see that in 2 days. Thank you very much for the translation, Jason. 감사합니다. And back to you guys at the